know each other. So
Hello, this is goku48071. I am a YouTuber. I also do a lot of other things, but I am known for goku48071.
that's really cool. Yeah. So you've obviously not been introduced to me yet. I am also a YouTuber. I am known as Jedi Joey. I cover everything from Marvel, DC, Star Wars, martial arts, video games, movie reviews. I'm a jack of all trades. I do it all. And I have been making a little podcast that meet on the week to week on Thursdays called Legion of Creators. So I'm giving big and small creators the opportunity to get exposure and for creators to build a true big community and kind of get to know one another and build each other up. Because I truly want to embrace the idea of a community. We built this Discord. We have me and Retrolad have all these great ideas. And so when we do all these interviews, I love the opportunity to meet new people, but also I'm building my community even more stronger by teaming up with other great creators. So tell me how you got into YouTube in the first place.
I just did it as a hobby. It's still a hobby. I don't have that many subscribers yet. I'm building them up. But actually, one thing you were mentioning, building a community, one thing I actually have on my channel. Have you ever heard of Geekvolution?
I think I have heard of it, but if you would like to explain it to me, that would be much appreciated because I literally just woke up from a nap, so I'm trying to get back to the swing of things.
So they're a channel that used to do. They still do. The original host, Captain Logan, still does content, but there used to be two of them, and they would do a wide range. His wife would come on to do Star Trek videos, but for a while they had a subscription thing where you could where you are not even a subscription where you bought this and you got some things. One was a requested review video. The other one was they would make a video for you alone. Meaning if you did not want anybody to ever see this video, you were the only one to get it. They would never upload the video. And I asked them, can I upload the video? So on my channel is a video from that they made to send to me.
That's really cool. I've never heard of that before. That's super cool.
Yeah, and so it's this weird kind of idea where it's literally not me in the video, but they call out my channel's name. They basically mention that I'm a longtime viewer, stuff like that. And so it was a neat kind of thing. I think it cost like $20. And I got to recommend them to do Stargate because I'm a huge Stargate fan. I love science fiction in general. I take it that you do also like science fiction to some degree because your name is Skywalker.
Yeah, so that's my name on here. So I guess I got to walk you down my origin story a little bit. So it's kind of almost seems like we're about to read a comic book in a sort of way. All right, so when I started YouTube in 2020, I used to be known as Yoda Joe 93. Because I could do a pretty decent Yoda voice. I liked Yoda. Growing up, that was one of my favorite characters. I'm a big Star Wars guy. And now I love all science fiction. I love Star Trek, everything, but I really love Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars. I got a Darth Vader tattoo. I have a lot of Star Wars items in my house. But then as I grew up, because like you said, you do other things other than YouTube. Most of us adults that do YouTube have real jobs, right? So a buddy of mine at work, so my name is Joe, but a lot of people at work call me Joey. So a lot of people are like, okay, well, every time I made a video and I was trying to do my intro and introduce myself to people that have never been on my channel, I was like, oh, saying Yoda Joe 93 it always felt like a mouthful and it really never really fit the tone of what I wanted to do. So then I decided I love Star Wars and I love the Jedi. So what about Jedi Joey? And so now I'm Jedi Joey. So it's kind of a cool thing. And so I love science fiction. I've all kinds. Star Trek, Star Wars, Blade Runner, you name it. I'm about it all.
I mentioned Stargate. Have you ever seen Stargate?
I have, actually. I'm a big Stargate fan as well.
Okay, because that is probably my favorite television sci-fi series of all time because I think it did it near perfectly. It actually does science actually very well because I'll get into something a little controversial, okay? I don't consider Star Wars science fiction. I consider it science fantasy because it is literally fantasy in a space setting.
Yeah. And I will agree with that. I mean, while I love Star Wars, I agree that that is truly not, it's not true, the science fiction part. It's more of a fantasy tale. So I do agree with that because as someone who understands science very much, that is very, very accurate.
Yeah,
And that's
like the example I like to use is when a ship breaks in Star Wars, they just beat on it and it works again.
and that's not how it works.
Or they do something, they never tell you the mechanics of how any of this works. They just say it works. This does X. Where in Stargate, they actually break down the science. They actually try to give you a scientific explanation for how this stuff operates and how it works. It may not always be correct because we don't know how wormholes would work, but yeah. Also, behind me, I don't know if you can see, but can you see what's behind me?
Yeah, I can kind of see it. Is that explain it to me.
Well, because I'm actually on video, I can actually walk around this room a little bit.
That, oh, you got an ad. Okay. That's pretty awesome. I and you got a bunch of cool like so I just for future reference, when Retro told me about you, I watched some of your videos and stuff and went and looked at some of the stuff that you talk about and stuff. So I know about your Nintendo stuff and all that. So I thought that was really cool. Looking
Yeah,
at that.
behind me is my Lego collection or my Lego city.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
saw
see it
that.
really well because it is. And on the other side that I'm looking right now is the Star Wars section. So that just, the AT-AT or AT-AT is just sitting there because it can't really fit in my little Star Wars area that I have because it's filled up. I need to expand more room, but I have a bunch of the ships over on the other side. As I said, it's kind of hard to flip the camera around and do that, so I can't really show it that well. But yeah.
That's really cool. So yeah, definitely everyone in the chat, make sure you subscribe to Mark. He has a great channel. He's got a lot of good videos talking about, Lego sets. I've noticed he talks about video games a lot, especially with the Nintendo Switch and stuff. And so I think that's really cool. And I really liked your insight. Like, so for me, when I go and look into interviewing or like getting to know content creators, I always go and do a little homework just to kind of know, okay, what kind of things can I talk about with this person? How do I know what they're into? Because I don't want to mention something that I'm into and assume that you're into the same thing. So, I mean,
Well, and actually, you talked about your origins. Let's talk about my origins a little bit because this became a hobby, but I just remembered how I got started. I was actually watching Lost, and I actually got into the Lost theory community. And so my first couple of videos are literally my theories on Lost. They're 100% wrong. They're crazy. They're not right at all. Do not go watch them. They are 100% wrong. But it was just a fun thing that there was this community of people doing it. It wasn't on Reddit, but it was on some kind of forum back in the day. I couldn't even tell you what it was because this was like 15 years ago or something. Like my videos are, if you look back, my videos are quite old. I have videos that, yeah, I've been here for a long time. I've just never really exploded because I never really took the time to make this huge because I just do it as a hobby.
right. I get that. Yeah, I think we can do that. Retrolight, can you get on that for me? Can you post his link in the chat for Jennifer? That would be awesome. Thank you. So yeah, I think that's really cool. When like the word hobby comes up a lot, I see that word tossed around, and there are times where some people had more time than others. Like well, I've always considered YouTube a hobby. I take the time I have, and I take a lot of pride in the time I have, and I go and make sure that like I said, I have a full-time job. I'm a busy guy. I also do martial arts, so I'm very busy. But I made sure that in the time I did have available. So when I started my channel in 2020, obviously I was sitting on my ass and collecting money, right, from the government. So what do you do when you're doing that? You stream nonstop hours and start building the community. So, and actually, I went on. Oh, thank you, Retrolad. And actually, I went on to work for a video game company known as Activision in that time. So I worked for them as a tester for a little bit. And so in between that job, I woke up super early, and then in between I would go home from work, stream for a little bit, go to bed, do my thing, whatever. And then after that job didn't pan out, then I started working at a movie theater and a couple other locations. And then if I worked at night, I would have time to do streams before going to work, make videos, stuff like that. And so now my full-time job, I have to get up at basically 3 a.m. every morning, except for on Mondays and Tuesdays. So Mondays and Tuesdays, I go all in. I prioritize my channel. I'm making a couple videos a day. I'm planning streams and podcasts and whatever I'm doing. And the biggest way I've learned to grow is be open and be honest and kind of just communicate with your community. So like tell them, hey, this week's gonna be really good. This is what we're setting up. This is what we're gonna do. And obviously don't tell everyone what you're doing because you want to leave surprises, but at least kind of set out a general schedule. Let them know like what's gonna be able for you to handle. What's gonna be like I used to dream like, oh, I'm gonna get 6 videos out today. It'll be awesome. That's not realistic. I'll be like, hey, two videos out through the day. Cool. Maybe one video I only have time for one day because I really got to go to bed. That's okay. Like yesterday, I felt bad because my job is I work at the airport, and my job has been very busy lately because it's different spring breaks. And so yesterday I slept. I came home from work and I just slept all the way to the next day. And so I was mad because I wasted an entire day that I could have used that night to create content. So the best word I'll tell you is, especially people, hobby or not, if you want to make this seriously, the best, or if you want to at least get more followers, whatever you want to do with your community, my best advice for you is learn how to balance. Like, do a little bit here, hobby or not, if you want to be successful in any sense, one, have passion for it, but also whatever you're passionate about, you can make a hobby still a passion. You can use that hobby and make it something more. And if that's something you want to take seriously, communication, I would say, is the best key. And obviously, the more you get to know other YouTubers, other people, that's going to really elevate your community, because you can get new people in your community that you never dreamed of having, because you're getting different communities interacting and working together. I'll do the best I can. I'm not sure how to do that on Restream Retro, but I might make a community post after the live stream where with my community everyone can follow him as well. So I'll make an updated thing after. But yeah, so I think that's really cool. Like obviously I think you have 400 and something subscribers, if I remember correctly.
I think it's 430.
Okay.
And actually, my most popular video, do not ask why it is so many, is got 430,000 views.
Awesome.
And the tragedy of that video is, I don't know if you know old YouTube, but old YouTube is very easy to be a partner. It's very easy.
Yeah.
They just gave you partnerships. So I was a partner at one time on YouTube. I did at one time generate some income. I never got to the point where I could take it out and actually spend it, but there was a point where I did have a Google AdSense that did have money in it. I think it was like $20 or something.
Okay.
And you had to get up to 100. I never got up to $100. That video could not be monetized because it had images that were not copyrightable. So now I just use me. That's why all my videos just have me in it. So if that ever happens again, if I ever have a video that blows up, I am not regretting it not being monetized.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to still get the views and all that stuff. And then when you do get a video you can monetize, I mean, then you're good. And new YouTube, there's a lot more ways that you can earn a lot more things now. So like, I am in the partner program. I have over 1K plus subscribers. And so I have revenue through not only my videos but also through what I gained over, my watch time is over I think 10,000 watch hours. So now I'm able to get Now I'm able to get ads on my channel, so I'm making money that way. But also,
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts, is a thing that they started doing a little bit ago. I'm sure you're familiar with. And so I'm also getting ads from that as well.
So actually, one thing I'll actually do something surprising. I'll actually announce something that I have not announced outside of people that I know. This is something I'm working on, so I'm not going to give anybody a timetable, but I will ask you a question first. What is your opinion on AI
So
or AI models?
I'm mixed on AI. Okay, so I will tell you my side of AI. I think that in some cases, I work at a job that's very technology based. So I love that technology is advancing. But what I do not like is there are some, if we're going to talk AI in general, there is a little bit of my factor as we talk science fiction. There is a little bit of my inner fear that is like, this is Skynet and the Terminators are taking over the planet. To be frank, that's something I've thought about before. But my most issue with AI is I have noticed that there are some YouTube channels out there that are all AI focused, right? And because they are like literally AIing people and like you never see their faces, they're just AI, right? With different images. It's taking away from the brilliance of what it means to be a creator. And so there's a lot of this AI stuff that's happening that is just like, oh, okay, now this guy's getting so many views because he's not being real. He's just a computer generated voice or a computer generated person. And that makes it kind of sad because sometimes I work really hard on a video. Someone makes AI of like Luke Skywalker's face, they get 10 million views, and then I'm struggling.
And there are some creators out there, I do not do this, that actually do AI scripts.
Yeah.
So they don't actually do anything. That is not where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So I am a storyteller. I have a million stories in my head. I keep them all there, but I've not been able to get them out on paper.
Right.
So I worked with an AI model to actually get a novel done. It is finished. It is in the process of being edited right now, and I will release it. I just wanted to kind of preference that even though the AI wrote it, I told the AI what to write. I told the AI what the story was going to be. And so every chapter, the AI would, I would tell the AI, I want this to happen, and it would write it, and then I would read it and be like, oh, okay, I want you to change this and this. So it is my story. It is what was in my head, but considering I am not able to sit there and write normally, I use the AI to do that process for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like the idea of using it for storytelling purposes. I think like that's a good idea. Like once again, like if you are a storyteller, getting things on paper can be hard sometimes, but when you achieve that, it's great. So I definitely think that form of AI is completely when AI can be useful and they're helping. It's a tool, right? We're meant to use it as a tool. I think that's fine. But like Retrolad says here, I'm not a fan of them using it to steal voice actors' voices, or like since you're a Star Wars guy, I'm sure you understand this. I'm sure you've heard about the fact that Disney's new Star Wars game, not brand new, but Star Wars Outlaws, has a Darth Vader appearance in it. And when they made the game, despite James Earl Jones was still alive, they didn't use James Earl Jones' voice for Vader. And they did something really bad. I can't remember who they used for it, but whatever they did, it didn't sound right. So then a YouTuber that was very passionate about Star Wars went and used AI to alter the voice and made it sound like James Earl Jones. And it sounded better than anything that Disney had made. So, like, stuff like that I think is kind of weird because it's like you're taking away from someone's creative vision of like stealing someone's voice. That doesn't feel right to me. That I feel like it's cool that you can edit things and do something creative, but when you're completely stealing something, like I see videos of people telling Star Wars stories and they're stealing Mark Hamill's voice, or Mark Hamill has an AI YouTube channel, or like stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen that before, but it's just weird.
No, absolutely. And one thing I will say is that there were times where I would say, help me write chapter 6. And then I would accidentally press enter, and it would actually come up with chapter 6 from what the story was before. I never read any of those chapters because those were never meant to be real chapters. If I didn't tell it what to write, I didn't read it because I didn't want it to write a masterpiece that didn't follow the narrative and then have to go, nope, can't use this. So I divorced myself from anything I didn't tell it to write.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
And I will give you just to tease it. I'll give you and tell me if you like this kind of story. I'll give you a quick plot synopsis. Okay.
All right.
I'm most likely going to be putting this on Patreon to sell it. That's how I plan to do it once I get it edited. So in a couple of months, I'm just stepping back because I spent weeks getting it together, and I just want to step back and focus on other things. But the premise of the book is about this guy who has a online girlfriend.
Ooh.
And they chat weekly. But he's a very, very skilled person, and we never really go into why he's so skilled. But his girlfriend son ends up getting kidnapped. And so with his help, he takes her to the underworld of the city that she lives in to ultimately find out who kidnapped her son.
Oh, wow.
So it's a John Wick-esque type story where this guy is basically a one-man army.
I'm totally into that sort of story. Obviously, I know you want to put that out on Patreon and stuff, but if you ever want to show me like ideas you have for your story, your script, or you want to push it out to more people and get it elevated, I'm happy to like promote it for you because I really do think that's a cool story. I think that sounds really interesting. I think that I hope for you that brings you great success. And I'm a big fan of creative writing. I mean, I know a lot of people like come up with a script and they write it down and they do whatever. I am like Brainiac. My brain is almost got like a photographic memory. I literally just kind of think of something, come up with the narrative of it, and then I just go up. For instance, for me, I'm very passionate about my filmmaking aspect. I want to make fan films. But in order to do fan films, I have to have good scripts, right? So I had to hire writers, but I also have to make sure that myself remains true to the vision that I want for these films. So I love the writing process. I love writing things on paper and coming up with ideas and seeing that idea finished makes me feel satisfied. So like sometimes some of my videos take longer to come out because I will not make a video until I know that my rock solid idea, my plan of doing something, like some people would just be like, oh, there's news. I'm just going to copy and paste what the article says. No. I want to make sure I have an ironclad script on what the video is about. What's the plan? What's the description? How are we going to talk about this thing? And how do I make it my own? Like, how is it original? What is my take on, say I'm reading an article from Deadline or from Hollywood Reporter about a movie. Yes, I'm going to read the article and say what it says, but I'm not going to say, oh, this is everything the article read like I'm an AI person. I'm going to go read it, and then I'm going to give my take and say, oh, this is interesting that so-and-so person is saying this. Oh, Donnie Yen is saying he wants to direct his John Wick spinoff movie. Like, that's something that, I want to give my take on, my honest thoughts, my feel. I think it's important as creators for us to still feel like people and to feel genuine. Like, so people know that we're not just this robot, this thing-making machine, making videos, cranking out things to get views. Like, we need to remain as people. The best creators need to remain as individuals, as people, and all those things. I think that's important. Retro brings out a good point. He says that you like Zelda and Final Fantasy.
Absolutely. One thing I'm looking forward to is the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering set because I like both Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy, and that is coming out in June. I don't know if you've heard.
I am actually trying to get into Magic the Gathering. I have not started yet, but I am interested in getting started.
So I will tell you some products that are coming out. So they're making a Spider-Man set. They're making a Final Fantasy set. those would be what I would aim towards buying, because you like look at the universes beyond, see if there's one that you connect to, and buy that, because then the game isn't going to be as it's going to be a little bit more fun for you, because it will be based on something you like. I was already a Magic player long before Universes Beyond existed, but when Universes Beyond Doctor Who came out, I bought all of that product.
That's awesome. I definitely think out of all the ones you've described to me, I'm probably the most interested, being that my content mostly, like, I cover multiple things. Like, I'm a jack of all trades. But right now, one of my hot tickets right now is Marvel's kind of hot right now. You know, they got movies, TV shows going on. They got all that good stuff. And I've always been a Marvel fan growing up on the cartoons and stuff. And as a kid, even in the video games aspect, I love Spider-Man. So I'd probably be very interested in the Spider-Man portion, because it's Spider-Man. What's not relatable and awesome about Spider-Man? Like that.
Also, they have this other thing called secret layers. These would be costful for you to get, but they do exist, because unfortunately, secret layers is a product that comes out, and then you have a window to pre-order it. If you don't pre-order it within that window, you can no longer pre-order it. So I missed out on. They had a secret layer of Doctor Who that gave you additional cards. I never got those cards. I'm eventually going to buy them. They're about $150. Where if I had bought them through there, it would have been $40. So I just haven't got the money together to buy that. And you're literally buying like 5 cards for $150. So it's expensive. Ironically, the card I want the most is the expensive one. Like, if I could buy him for cheap, I wouldn't care about the other ones. The other ones I don't care about. But considering that he has the bulk of it, I think just get it all. But with that said, they actually have right now, let me see if I can remember all of them. They have secret layers of Captain America, Black Panther, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Storm.
Holy shit! Yeah, I'm thinking.
So those give you like 5 or 6 cards, and there's value in all of them, and and in Magic the Gathering, I'm not going to get too far deep into this, but there's a famous format called Commander. You have a 100-card deck, and you can only have one of each card in your deck, but then you have one card out of that 100 that's called your Commander. It is in the command zone, and it can be played from the command zone, so you can play it anytime you have the mana to play it. And if it dies, it goes back to the command zone, and you put a commander tax. And as long as you can pay its cost plus the tax, you can play it again. And so all of those cards, like the face cards of all of them, are commanders. So if you want Wolverine to be your commander, you can have Wolverine be your commander. My friend ended up actually buying the Iron Man one, because it had a lot of cards for his Lara Croft deck, because he has a Lara Croft deck.
Well, that's freaking cool.
And so I would look up that Secret Layers, and I would also look up the Spider-Man set, because that is a way. Unfortunately, they're not making commander decks, so you would have to build your own deck.
Okay.
Commander decks are an easy way to get in, because like the Final Fantasy decks are going to be $70. You can't really build a commander deck for $70. You can, but it can be very difficult. So they give you a good base, and then you can put the cards you want, mix and match into it. And so I can't wait for Final Fantasy. But do you have any other questions?
So I know Retrolad said something. So what you said right here, I think is really cool. You've definitely sold me on, like, I now know which cards I'm going to go after for this sort of Magic the Gathering stuff. So I've got a lot of friends that have been into it, but I've kind of just been kind of hesitant. I'm like, oh, is this going to be something for me? Something I'm into? But you definitely sold me. I'm like, okay, these are the ones I got to be on the lookout for, because it's got my interest. Retrolad also wants me to say, what Final Fantasy game would you recommend that I start with first in the future?
So this is a very, very hard question. So I'm going to give you a couple of answers, okay?
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy VII Remake is a good starting point because it's just a straight up modern game. It is retelling the story of 7. There are some changes, but it is a modern game with modern sensibilities. 7, the original, which I actually found out is actually on sale on Steam, is also a very good start. Beyond that, what I suggest anybody to do, very much like what I was talking about Magic the Gathering, when it comes to Final Fantasy isn't one genre. There's high fantasy, there's science fiction, there's cyberpunk, there's steampunk. There's all these different genres in it. Like one, have you played Final Fantasy?
I haven't played any of the games from what my knowledge is. I think I might have played like a demo once, but I don't think I've ever dived into that world before.
So one that might be an actual good starting point for somebody with your taste is actually one of the ones that is not the super most popular one, but that is Final Fantasy 12. And the reason why is it's essentially Star Wars in the Final Fantasy world. Like it has very similar plot points to Star Wars. So it is like one of the main characters in it is a very Han Solo like character. He's got a Chewbacca like character that accompanies him. There's a Princess Leia like character. There's a Luke Skywalker like character. They're their own original characters. Do not think that it's plagiarism or it's too close. It is its own original story, but it is heavily it uses a lot of those themes from it, and so that's the beautiful thing, and this is the reason I'm using it as an example, is that's the beautiful thing about it is the genre you're looking for probably exists in it. You just got to look for that game. So I could list off games. 10 is a good starting point. 7 is a good starting point. 8 is a good starting point. Like the person that recommended me to you, his favorite is 9.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, I'll definitely take your advice. I think I'll start with 12 because I am someone that I am someone that really likes that really is into, I grew up with Star Wars all my life. I mean, I've been to Galaxy's Edge. I understand Star Wars lore more than probably anything in my life, honestly. Like, I understand a lot of lore from a lot of different comic books and a lot of different storytelling things, but I really understand Star Wars. Like, to the point.
And there's also
yeah, go ahead.
And also another good reason it's a good starting point is there's also a PS4 version of the game. So it's a very accessible game to get. It's a definitive, much better version of the game. And so it's one of those things where getting a PlayStation 2 game may be hard, but getting this game is much easier. But Final Fantasy has made it quite easy to get 7 and up. All of those, I think, are on Steam. They're readily available. They make them available.
That's interesting, Jennifer. I didn't know about the F1 trailer. That's that race car movie, right? So I was just answering the chat real quick. But yeah, no. So that's really cool. I literally, so if you say it's on PS4, now I have a PS5. Does that mean that it's going to be easy attainable on like the PlayStation Store and stuff for both?
I don't know if it's on the PlayStation Store, but all PlayStation 4 games are playable on the PS5. So yes, you would be able to play it on your PS5.
So if I were to go to GameStop or something and I go and pick up Final Fantasy 12 or PS4, I can pop it into my PS5.
Yes, as long as you have a disc drive in it.
Yes, I do. So, okay. Yep. That's sick. I love that. All right. So
yeah, one of the neat features about the PS5, I don't know if you know this, but being a hardcore gamer, I'm very well aware of this, is a lot of games were released on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 would have a better version. So let's say you bought Assassin's Creed that was on both systems.
Yeah.
You could pop it in your PS5, and in some cases it would charge you $10, but in other cases it would just give you a free update.
Oh, cool.
And so it would update your version to that version. The Star Wars, I'm forgetting what it is. It's not the one you were talking about, but it's the it's the other Star Wars game that came out where you play a Jedi Padawan. Forgetting the name. They made 2 of them.
You're talking about
But
you're talking about are you talking about the newer games, the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor?
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. If you pop a PlayStation 4 version into your PS5, it gives you a free update, so you play the PS5 version of that game.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and so it was just a way of them allowing you to. And then there are examples of that where that does not work, like Grand Theft Auto, because they just made a brand new version and sold it for full retail price. Because why not? Why not release that game a billion times? Why not? Right?
That's ridiculous. So I'm glad that you mentioned the Jedi games. So I consider, as a Star Wars guy, Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor are some of my favorite, not only pieces of Star Wars media, but like as games. I absolutely love them because they have everything that you could ever want. I mean, the gameplay is great. I beat the first game in preparation for the second game on the hardest, like Grandmaster difficulty, because I love I love that game. It was difficult, but I had a fun time streaming it and being like, hey, okay. I mean, I raged a lot, like Dark Souls level rage, but that's how you get good. So it was fun. Yeah, so that's really cool. I like what you said there. I'm glad that you have a good entry point to get people in to Final Fantasy. So since you mentioned a lot of connections to Star Wars, where would you say your Star Wars journey is at currently? Are you still pretty much an avid Star Wars fan? Do you love everything that they're making, or are you kind of like just like some things? Like, where is your like? So right now, as a Star Wars content creator, when I start my YouTube channel, where I talk about all things, primarily, a lot of people like to change this narrative with the name Jedi Joey. You got to understand about me that, well, I will cover Marvel, I will cover DC, I will cover all these things. I am primarily a Star Wars content creator. When I got my start, it was because Mandalorian Season 2 got me hyped to want to talk about Star Wars. So I am definitely a Star Wars guy. Oh, you're getting your lightsaber? Is that Mace Windu's or is that Luke's? That's sweet. This is my Force Effects Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Actually, so this is a combat saber. I don't know if you've heard of these.
Are they a good brand to have?
So they make a lot of different brands, but the reason why these are cool, and this one is actually the combat made one, so it doesn't have as many sounds, as many features, but this thing right here, you can do that all you want. You're not going to break it. You can literally smash this into another lightsaber, so you can actually duel with these.
How much do those cost?
So I think I paid $150 for this. They range from I got lucky with this one, but they range from anywhere from around $100 to $400 from what I've seen, depending on the brand you get, the quality you get. But the reason I got this one is I went to a convention and I did a Luke Skywalker cosplay, so I needed the hilt.
That's sick.
And if I'm going to be spending that kind of money to get the hilt, why not also get a combat lightsaber? So I mainly got it for the hilt. But it also works out, as it is also something I'm going to have fun with and play around with. But yeah, no, these are readily available. Just look up Combat Saber online. You'll find a bunch of different brands. I will let you know that the ones that are actually based on iconic characters, if you buy it from the higher brand ones, those are going to be the most expensive. Okay. To where if you buy the generic looking ones, those are going to be the cheaper ones. Okay. So if you just want one to have fun and combat with your friends, just get a generic hilt. Don't get one based on a character. But okay, this also can change color. I'm not going to show you because it's the color I want it to be. and it's very hard to reset it. But that can actually change. That can actually change to a different. And there are some. I don't think these are the heavy combat ones, but there are some where you can actually make them rainbow, and like do different colors throughout. Mine, I don't think can do that. Mine can only be one solid color, but it can basically be any color you want it to be.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that a lot. That's actually, I've never heard of combat sabers before, but I'm definitely going to look into that now. Oh, hold up, Mark. Are you going to? Retfly wants to know if you're going to phone Eli in the future for the ideas of like joining up in our podcast and stuff.
I will let him know. He is his own person. He will make those decisions.
Yeah, I've talked to him a little bit. I know kind of what he's like. I actually made a podcast specifically for him called The Beyond of DC, since I know he's a big Batman Beyond guy. So I wanted to make sure that he had a little slice of that awesome stuff. But yeah, so
and that is actually, and I will say this, that's actually somebody I've actually met in person.
Cool. Well,
so he's not just an online person anymore. I've actually met him in person. So he's actually somebody that I actually spent time in the real world.
Yeah. That's super cool. So that's something that that I wanted to prioritize about if you want to know more about my community. When I was at your subscriber count, first thing I did was just because even though it's not that big of a milestone, to me it was big. So when I hit 400, I went and found all my subscribers that follow me in the place that I live and got together and did meetups. But I also,
so when people say it's not a big milestone, every milestone is big.
Yes.
When you get your first 25 subscribers, that's huge.
Yeah.
Then when you get your first 50, 100, 200, 300, those are all big milestones because, and here's the funny thing, the bigger you get, the faster your channel will grow.
Yeah.
Those starting milestones are always going to be the hardest because nobody knows who you are. Because the second that you get bigger, bigger people are going to talk about you. And you're going to be part of, even if you're not directly attached to communities will talk about you. And once you have people mentioning you and talking about you, it's just going to grow your subscriber count. I could be at more subscribers if I wanted to, but kind of the last big topic I'll bring up. I don't know how much longer you have, but the last big topic I will go into is something I was going to bring up earlier is so I started about 15 years ago. Wow. I started back in the heyday where it was the wild, wild west of YouTube, where everybody was just doing content. And I started so long ago, I could be huge on YouTube. But at a certain point, I just decided to make videos when I wanted to. I didn't want to do schedules. I didn't want to make content to make content. And so the last 5 years, I've just turned on my camera and made a video when I feel like making it. And so a lot of times it will be 6 to 8 months in between videos because I don't feel like making a video. And that's not a way to get subscribers. That is not a way to grow your channel. But I didn't care. That was not my goal. My goal was to get my ideas out on the camera so a couple of people could see them. But now that people at work are mentioning my channel, it's kind of given me a little bit more. Like I had like 4 or 5 people actually mention my channel at work. Hey, we found your YouTube channel. And so it kind of puts pressure on me to make content, but there's things I want to talk about. And so I am now going to start trying to do a video every Friday.
Oh, cool.
So I do have a schedule. So I do, and I may do it Saturday, I may do it Thursday, but I'm going to do it around that time so that there is a video in that neighborhood every week. But I will be doing a video on April 2nd. Do you know what April 2nd is?
The day after April Fool's, and the day that something comes out on April 2nd, right?
Nintendo is doing their Switch 2 big reveal.
Okay. So that
So
would be a
that's
big
when we're
game.
going to learn about price. We're going to learn about release date. We're going to learn about launch games. We're going to most likely learn about launch window games. That's when we're going to learn about all of that. Like
And I saw
most
him
of the stuff
saying,
coming out of the Switch in its first year will be revealed in that video.
oh, that's cool. I saw on one of your videos that you actually mentioned that you had taken that day off of work or something, that you had a lot of plans for that day.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch other YouTubers' reactions. I do that. Do you ever do that? Watch YouTuber reactions to videos that you watch?
Of course, that's half the game, baby. That's how you know what to talk about, because you're like, oh my god, like for me, everything I do is original, right? I don't just go and be like, hey, I'm gonna copy and paste this dude. I go and watch people that I've liked for a long time. Like a lot of channels I started off on, like it doesn't always hit very much good content, but one thing I'm very big on doing is when a trailer for a movie comes out, I love to do reactions. I love to people the moment the trailer comes out. Oh my gosh, I gotta react to this right now. Like it's a big thing, or news will come out, or a clip will come out, or whatever. I gotta react to it as soon as possible. And so like, I love watching other people's reactions of things, and not just necessarily just movies, not necessarily TV shows, video games, all that stuff. I'm big on that. I think that's a cool part of the experience, because it's like, oh wow, like, and you're watching someone, you're like, okay, now your reaction is not going to be the same as everyone else's. Everyone's got different reactions. We're all very different people. But I think that's really cool. I'm a big fan of watching people's reaction to things.
So I will recommend one. Have you ever heard of Rogers Base?
I have not.
Okay, he's actually a really big YouTuber. I want to say he has 250,000, but he may be higher.
Okay.
This is actually his full-time job, is YouTube. And because he's so big, he's actually been Nintendo's actually invited him to events and stuff like that. So he's actually one of those people that is actually that can actually make a career and actually get sent out to certain events and whatnot. But the video I recommend watching of his, if you ever want to give one of his videos a reaction, is he did a supercut of all his Super Smash Brothers reactions.
That's so cool.
And throughout a lot of those videos, he is crying, like audibly crying. He does very emotional reactions when something is big for him. And people think it's fake. It's not. It's just this is important to him. You'll never see content like that on my channel. I don't break up like that. That's fine. That's probably why I'll never do a reaction video, because first of all, they take a lot of editing. They take a lot of work, and I put respect to people that do those. But also, people are looking for a certain type of thing when you're reacting to something, and I'm just not going to have that type of reaction.
Yeah,
and so
that's what falls into the thing that everyone's different. Like there are people that, for me, if it is powerful or it is something that I'm blown away by, yeah, I might react emotionally to it. I might get very excited. Like I want to show that genuine feeling. Like I'm usually more in the candidate. Like people can say it's fake all they want. I'm more of the like in the vein of like I'm watching a trailer, I'm watching a clip, or I'm getting an advertisement to something. I'm getting excited. I'm jumping out of my chair. I'm more that kind of reaction person. I'm very much like when I'm watching something, let's go, baby, come on, let's get excited. Like, just kind of like feeling the vibes. But there are some times where I really do, like as I mentioned earlier when I started my channel with Mando Season 2, one of my regrets was I did not start my channel till Mando Season 2 was over. If I would have as someone who is a Star Wars guy, if I would have had my channel done watch parties when Mando Season 2 came out, right? I would be bawling like a baby when I saw Luke Skywalker on my screen.
Now, let me ask you this question. That brings up a really interesting question. Who did you think that was? I've heard a lot of people say a lot of different reactions. Who did you think that was?
Before I saw the X-Wing and just kind of stuff, or well, not necessarily X-Wing, but it started like piecing things together, like when I saw the black cloak, I was kind of thinking, because, we couldn't really see their face. They could have been alien. We don't know, right? I thought it might have been Plo Koon at one point, because I know Dave Filoni's super big into Plo Koon and wanting, but I was like, timeline-wise, we know he's dead, so that wouldn't make sense. But it still was like, at first I was thinking it was going to be someone that we knew of at the timeline that was alive. So Plo Koon was out there. and then I don't think there was a ton of other names. I'm like, I think the thing that was so important about Luke Skywalker for me was, as I'm sure you know, like I don't know if you just love Star Wars. You probably don't talk about the controversial side of Star Wars, but the reason why that moment is so big is that is the Luke Skywalker that people have craved since the sequels had come out. And so,
Oh, absolutely, and I completely agree with you 100%. But one of the big ones, I don't know if you know this character, Kyle Katarn.
yes, I'm a huge streamer of what is the name of the games? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Dark Forces.
Yes, I love Dark Forces. I am a huge Dark Forces and Jedi Outcast. That's what I was thinking of. The Jedi Outcast games are fantastic. I love them. And
so people thought it might have been him being canonized because they have done that with characters. There are rumors. Do you mind if I talk about a rumor that has not been substantiated yet?
Go ahead. I'm all in on this.
Okay, there is a rumor that Mara Jade has been casted in some future project.
I have heard about this idea. I do have some reservations about it because of the Luke that we just got in Last Jedi being on the island alone. So if you canonize Mara Jade, she's not going to be connected to Luke.
Either that or they will have been separated at that time.
Right.
And maybe his isolation has to do with their relationship and basically their ideas about the Jedi Order. Like that's possible.
If that's something they go on to, I could be a little bit more of a believer into maybe what went wrong with him because that would make sense why things have happened. I mean, I love Mara Jade. Like, I think Mara Jade, to me, as bad as the sequels were, I think the sequels would have been elevated having a character like Mara Jade because honestly, the greatest thing about Mara Jade is you wouldn't have had to go on the route of Kylo Ren as deep into the other characters you had because Mara Jade serves the perfect role of being an antagonist and then becoming a great hero.
And I would love them to tell a story about her originally being able to originally sent to assassinate Luke Skywalker. Like we don't need to connect her to Luke Skywalker in that way of that they eventually have a relationship. If that's not the story they want to tell, because obviously they've already gotten past Luke's story. Now we're going to see Luke's story in Mandalorian, but it all depends on where she's being introduced. If she's in Mandalorian and Grogu, then yeah, if that's where they're introducing her, and I don't think she is, don't say that that's what I'm saying, but if that's where they're introducing her, then yeah, there's a high probability Luke will be in that movie in some fashion.
But let's cook something pretty crazy, right? So that could be an idea, right? But I want to pitch something even crazier that people might not agree with because I know people aren't big fans of this character, but I think this would actually elevate her story quite a bit. What if we know that they want to give Rey as a character Luke Skywalker's whole New Jedi Order quest, right?
Yeah.
What if they have a storyline with the Rey movie and some of the other movies, because I know they want to do a trilogy comes together, and what if it's Mara goes after in some way after Rey, as Mara is as Rey's kind of like used in the story of like she's the Jedi, she's trying to teach her students and whatever, but Mara is used as an assassin to go after Rey because then the next generation of the Empire
I wouldn't like that, but the storyline that I thought that they could actually do,
yes,
is Rey wasn't fully trained.
Yes,
and so the idea of stating that Mara Jade was a Jedi who was trained in the ways of the Jedi, and that Rey seeks her out to finish her training, that I would be interested in. And you don't need to connect it directly to Luke, but you can have her play a support role in building the Jedi Academy as that she is the master. She is the one that's mastered the Force. Because at this point, I like Rey as a character. I know a lot of people don't like her. I do like Rey. I think the issues with Rey is from The Last Jedi. I think if we removed The Last Jedi and we had James Cameron's 1, 2, and 3 movie, I think that movie would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
I think
I think that makes sense. Daniel, I believe in the chat. I personally, when it comes to trusting Disney, that's a fair question at this point. But I would say, yeah, I like that idea because I personally, one of my reservations with Rey as a character, I don't have the hate for Rey that a lot of other people have for Rey. But what I will say with Rey as a character is, I don't buy that after we saw Leia and Luke pass on their way in the story and their story. I don't buy that just with a few Force Ghost lessons that Rey's ready to he's ready to teach the next generation of Jedi. So,
and this is supposed to be 15 years later. So
yeah,
she may have met up with Mara Jade or Kyle Katarn or Ahsoka or one of these other Jedis that
if
are.
it was a Grandmaster Legacy Jedi that was helping her, I would actually be more okay with it. If like if it is Kyle Katarn, if it is Ahsoka, if it is Margit, those are all characters that I think make sense. I think that would be fantastic. I like that idea. I think
Yeah, and so there's ways to do things correct. Like, I don't know your opinion on the Acolyte. I do not think they should have canceled the Acolyte. I think they should have just done a course correct because have you finished the Acolyte?
Yes, and I'm going to talk openly about it. And please know that I'm going to be as respectful as I can be, but I have a lot of issues with the Acolyte because.
And that is fine. That is fine. I am saying, so my opinion, the only thing I'm going to mention on the Acolyte, I'm not going to talk positive or negatively about it, but there is a story that they started to build, and they threw the baby out with the bathwater because we all wanted to see Yoda get involved. We all wanted to see these legacy characters, and the new characters they created were bad. Okay, fine. Discard those characters. And my opinion or my idea for a season 2 would have been having Plagueis actually train young Palpatine, Chief Palpatine.
Well, that to me, in my opinion, if I would have rewrote the show, that should have been season 1 from the get-go. Like
absolutely. Absolutely. But that's not what they wanted to tell. They told their story. People didn't like their story. But yet again, the seeds that they set up could have led into something. You don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like the idea that people were mad at it, figure out why people don't like the show and gravitate towards the things that people did like about the show.
Here's when I think of the things that you get rid of and the things you keep, this is what I would do. Get rid of everything that has to do with the twins connected to the Force, because the twins are the problem, because they're trying to use the twins to actually kind of change and retcon the Chosen One Anakin Skywalker narrative, which I don't
so
like.
I have a different opinion on this, and I think that there was a very interesting route they could have went, and maybe this was going to be season 2. This may or may not have been season 2. So I have the hypothesis that Plagueis actually was the one that made the twins, and this was his first attempt to try to make the Chosen One, and he failed with the twins. And Anakin was the successful time that he did it. Or it may have been the Force trying to retcon what he was trying to do, trying to change it.
Oh, yeah. Trying to change. What are you doing, honey?
And so there were avenues they could have went down to make that make sense that I think Star Wars fans would have been okay with, because Anakin is still special because he succeeded. He accomplished the goals. There may have been failed attempts. And that was an interesting avenue they could have went down. But as I said, they canceled it. They're going on to better things that people enjoy. And yet again, you're going to break a few eggs. Marvel has done it as well. Marvel's had some big successes and some big failures.
Yeah, look, my whole thing with that is that maybe they could have elevated that and maybe they could have changed that. One thing that I would have kept personally, and one thing I am upset about, as much as people have the narrative that the Acolyte sucked and that everything needed to be canceled from it, I'll say this. And I know that, there's the whole narrative of the actors have social media, you can't trust the actors, whatever. What they did to the central villain for the show when the show ended was wrong. Because they canceled it on, and I know Disney, viewership, whatever, they probably didn't have this planned out. They canceled the show on this actor's birthday. And I'm sure maybe that wasn't planned because, they announced it when they announced it, whatever. We don't know how Hollywood works. But he had so much passion and ideas for where his character would go in season 2. And for me, I spoke very very highly of all this stuff. But one thing I will say is I think that character's story, I think he was the selling point of season 1 for me, because now the one thing that separates it apart is one of the things people had trouble with is they didn't like that there was Sith around because of the whole master and apprentice thing set up in the prequels, right? But I never saw, I think his name was Chimere. I never saw Chimere as a full-blood Sith. I thought of him as more like similar to Kylo Ren in the sense, right? Of more of like a dark side warrior. And I think the idea that they're building with that storyline would have been interesting. It was handled properly. I think one thing I do have an issue with is when you mention the idea of legacy characters. I don't like what they did with Ki-Adi-Mundi's changing his age and his birthday and saying that he was a part of the events that George stated that he specifically did not know about.
And I get that. Whenever you change something, you're going to have people that like it. You're going to have people that don't like it.
But I want you to know for the record that not everything in the Acolyte, like as me, as a Star Wars fan, there are some ideas that if they ever circled back to certain characters, like maybe not the Acolyte, but in a different story, I would be open to explore. Like, I was one of the biggest things that the show should have been about Plagueis from the beginning if they would have actually, because ever since what I consider to, I know everyone has a different opinion on what they consider to be their favorite Star Wars film, right? My favorite Star Wars film is Revenge of the Sith because I like how everything ties together, especially with the end of Clone Wars Season 7. It might not have the best acting of all the Star Wars movies and all that stuff, but as a Star Wars guy, I got into Star Wars for the Jedi and the Sith and the lightsaber battles, and that movie has by far the most lightsaber battles. And then one thing that stuck with me in that movie is the scene of Anakin, his turn to the dark side is starting, and he's sitting in like the theater with Palpatine, right? And Palpatine has all his staff leave, and he says, "You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" And I was like, the moment that they dove into that little scene, for some people it was just a little scene, but I had read the Plagueis book and all this other stuff, had it into it. I knew about Darth Plagueis, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to see more of this character as soon as possible. There's such a rich backstory, the fact that he's alien-like, and then there's so much interesting intrigue with him. I just want more stories with Plagueis. I really do. I really think he's a character that deserves to have a story told.
And one of the biggest shames of the Acolyte is if you're not in the camp that really knows Star Wars, you don't know who that character is. Like they show this creepy guy who doesn't actually fit his character from those novels. So not to say that it can't fit it. It's just the version they showed us doesn't fit his like novel version. But the idea of the Acolyte, to me, when I heard the idea that we're going to see what the Sith were doing during the High Republic, that was fascinating. I want that show. I want a show about the Sith doing Sith things.
And that's the thing that makes me so annoyed is, once again, we got this Star Wars show, but it's all about how corrupt the Jedi are. We learned about how corrupt the Jedi were in the prequels, with how they were handling Anakin and how they literally didn't see Palpatine under their nose the entire time. So to me, that story's been told. The one of my desires in Star Wars that we still have not gotten, except for in books and in animation, to a degree, is we've seen so many times how Jedi training is. We barely see or know Sith training. We've seen Dooku train Ventress. We've occasionally in Clone Wars, we've seen him train Savage. We've seen a bunch of different stuff. But in the movies, like when they were doing the sequels, when they were showing the trailers for Last Jedi, after I watched Force Awakens, one of the things I got so excited about was when Snoke said to Kylo Ren, "We need to go and finish your training." I got so giddy because I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is everything I want to see in Star Wars." Because for me, my name is Jedi Joey. I am full-blown dark side, baby. I am 100%. The dark side is what interests me in Star Wars. When it comes to stories about the Sith, when it comes to what characters are interesting, I'm all about the Sith. I think the Sith are the characters. If I'm in Star Wars and I'm asked to play someone, I am definitely going to be a Sith because I find the Sith interesting, and that to me.
And my most wanted project would make you happy. The thing that they need to they need to fast track right now, which there are rumors they are working on this. There are rumors. No legitimate sources come out and say that they're doing this, but please make this finally be the time. Is a Knights of Old Republic series.
I want to see it. I really do. And if they do it, they gotta make Riven be amazing. And if you're gonna do this, I've said this before. The only way that you can do this is because I know that he was rumored to be, since they had his Matrix co-star in the Acolyte, but he turned it down. I'm hoping the reason that Keanu Reeves turned down being in the Acolyte is because he really wants to play Riven in another.
That is my casting choice for Revan. Absolutely.
He's so perfect, dude. You saw him in John Wick with the swords. Just imagine him with a saber, dude. He's gonna go crazy. Like,
oh, he would be John Wick in the Star Wars universe.
And that would not be a bad thing at all, because it's like, oh my god, dude. I mean, especially because like John Wick, you know, they're somewhat limited to what he can do. Keanu Reeves running around with lightsabers and like force kicking dudes and like, oh, it would be so good.
So one thing I will bring up that actually I like about Star Wars novels and the other things that they really haven't done since they rebooted it, which I kind of hope they do, is back in the day, the Jedi used to be the most powerful force out there. Yeah. They used to be, like, there is a comic, I'm forgetting the name, it's a very popular comic, but there is a comic where they're battling an AT-AT, and the New Republic is struggling to battle this one AT-AT. They cannot defeat it. And Luke Skywalker comes and does this, and it just smashes to the ground.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see like basically when the Jedi come, they're the most powerful force ever. And the only thing that can take a Jedi is another Jedi or another Force user of that level. The only people who can beat a Jedi Master is either a Sith Master or a Jedi Master. Well, that's what I want to see.
I will tease something for you that in the sake of Disney mistreating of certain storylines that haven't happened or haven't like been made the way that they should be made, a lot of us Star Wars fans have chosen to take things into our own hands. And it's in very early development for me. I will not make money on this whatsoever, but it is a passion project of mine. Do you remember back in the day of the old PlayStation 1 game known as Masters of Terrascasi?
I don't know. I've heard of it. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Okay, so I took the idea of Masters of Terrascasi, but I went deeper into the Star Wars lore as someone who's a real martial artist. I want to see more of the Jedi aspects of George Lucas and Disney. They kind of have changed. Everyone has kind of changed Star Wars' narrative of Jedi and the lore of how the Jedi fight in their own way, right? George Lucas believed in them being more like space samurai, and he showed that in the original trilogy. But then as he got into the prequel trilogy, they moved more like kind of more like ninjas, like, you know, fast, doing flips, you know, kind of that like element. And so ever since watching Clone Wars, I've wanted to dive into if a Jedi and Sith encounter each other, you know, we've seen through the prequels, lightsaber combat has been lightsabers touching, spinning, twirling, doing all these cool things. But what happens when somebody uses the Force to turn off, another Force user uses their Force to turn off a Jedi's lightsaber and they can't turn it on, or a lightsaber is destroyed, right? You have true Jedi, Sith on Jedi hand-to-hand combat style like sequences, because they explain in Solo and a lot of the other movies in Star Wars lore that there is a form of hand-to-hand combat that was used to confront Jedi known as Terras Kasi. And one of the reasons that Maul was actually one of people's favorite Star Wars characters is, for the record, I actually have a picture on my wall where I met both actors that played Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels, as well as Ray Park. Amazing guy. But so I have this idea to make a movie of Jedi and Sith in their peak level as masters of their craft, in the Force, in lightsaber combat, in hand-to-hand combat, because I personally crave that sort of, like you mentioned, the idea of the Jedi at the height of their power. I think that's something I want to see. So that, and I am not convinced right now that that's going to happen anytime soon. So I'm working with a couple of people to put together this project and make it happen, because I think it would be super cool. And the way that I'm doing it is I want to do it with all original characters. I want to do it. I'm writing all new characters in a story that this won't have anything to do with the current existing characters. There will be new Jedi, there will be new Sith, but they are not tied to the regular characters that we have that have existed already. So,
but I do got to get going shortly. So, anything else?
No, I think we're good, man. I just really like talking to you, and I hope we can chat again in the future. I really enjoyed this with you, and I understand your time is valuable. So I want you to know I really appreciate it, and I hope we'll be talking again in the future, because I really do enjoy talking to you. I think you and I have a great understanding. I've never had good Star Wars conversations with someone of like, and not just the Star Wars stuff, but the stuff you mentioned about Magic the Gathering. I really enjoyed all the stuff that we dived into here.
And absolutely, we can put something on the books to have a Star Wars dedicated video where we talk about it for an hour or two and we get into more particulars. Let's plan for after Celebration, sometime after Celebration, where we actually have announcements and things to talk about, okay?
Let's do a Star Wars stream. We'll do like an actual like live stream about it after. So when does Celebration happen?
I'm not sure the dates. We can get the dates. We can figure out a date that works for everybody after. It's coming out in the summer, sometime in the summer. So
I'm down for that. I hope they go all out, because I was kind of like, there was some exciting announcements last Celebration, but it wasn't super great. So hopefully they really go all out and we get some really good announcements.
I think we are going to get some announcements. There's not really much coming out this year. Mandalorian Grogu is supposed to come out next year. So as I said, this will give us something to talk about, because we'll actually have news.
Yeah, I'm open to that, Retro. I think I'm okay with the idea of, if I can fit it in the budget, I would be willing to use AI at some point if it's something that I could make work for the storytelling. I have some people I can collaborate with animation and stuff. But yeah, thanks, man, for being here. It means a lot. I'm looking forward to streaming with you after Celebration. That is a time, and you have given me passion to something that nobody has ever done. I actually stopped talking about Star Wars on my channel a lot because the discourse of it, like with Acolyte, I just like kind of got this feeling like I'm not going to talk about Star Wars anymore because nothing is really getting me excited anymore. And then after I watched Skeleton Crew, nobody watched Skeleton Crew because of the Acolyte numbers, but I thought Skeleton Crew was pretty decent, and so I talked about that. But then after that, there's been announcements about Mando and Grogu that's been announced, and I just kind of stayed away from it because I'm like, oh, no one's going to watch my Star Wars videos. No one wants to talk about Star Wars. No one wants to hear about Star Wars anymore. And so you've given me the inspiration to, like, on top of the stuff we got announced, I'm going to start to make Star Wars videos again, because I'm going back to my roots. It feels good to still be a Star Wars fan and to still remember why I started on YouTube in the first place.
And if you haven't seen this channel, go check it out. Star Wars Explain.
I love Star Wars Explain. Oh, so I love him to a degree. Okay, so I I like some of the stuff he does. I know he gets early access to stuff, but one thing I will say is I don't know if you know about the back. I don't know if you probably don't pay attention to the backwards drama. There was some drama between him, Star Wars Theory, and I believe Stupendous Wave is another Star Wars content creator, and it kind of made me neglect from his channel because Star Wars Explained started copying and stealing from Star Wars Theory ideas and everything, so it kind of made me off-put from Star Wars Explained. But like I said, all these I don't know that for a fact. I'm not in that world. I don't talk to them. I don't have their contact information. Everything, as far as I can see, is hearsay. But I've been following Star Wars Theory a lot longer than Star Wars Explained, and I trust his word because he is a true, genuine Star Wars fan that truly makes Star Wars content for Star Wars fans. And I don't think he would lie about something like that happening to him. So, personally, politics exists in everything, no matter where it comes from. But I have watched some of his videos. I'm not watching Star Wars Explained. I navigate towards Theory and Stupendous more because I think that's.
And I'm the opposite. I watch Star Wars Explained because I like how they do their content. I like their structure.
Well, what's something that makes their structure different from Theory and Stupendous? What do you think that the structure is different for?
So it more goes into the origin of what Star Wars Explained was. It was Star Wars Minute, and he would just do like quick videos on a particular character, and he still does things like that. Not as much anymore, but it was just his format was bite-sized, easy to get videos, and that's what I like about it. And he has recently been doing bigger, longer videos, but then he'll actually put them as bite-size shorts. And as I said, his channel, where I see, and you may disagree with this is my opinion. I see Star Wars Theory as more of an opinionated channel. Star Wars Explained is just mostly facts. He talks about his opinions on things, but when he's talking about a Star Wars topic, it's just factual information. And so that's my opinion on why I like him better. But as I said, I've seen all three of them.
I personally agree with that notion. Actually, while I have watched Star Wars Theory for a long time, I don't always agree with Star Wars Theory, and I do actually like you. I do go into the camp of like I'm a facts guy. When I make a video, I go by what the facts are.
Yeah.
Like some people to me, because of what the Acolyte was and stuff, and because he was involved with it, a lot of people are in the camp that they don't trust Dave Filoni anymore. Like Star Wars Theory turned his back on Dave Filoni because he thinks that Dave Filoni is the problem with the Acolyte and didn't and doesn't understand Star Wars, even though he was George Lucas's basically his apprentice. But I haven't given up on Dave Filoni. I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are the reason that the Mando and Grogu movie will be good. I think that they're still doing amazing work at Star Wars. So I trust them still. I still think that they're making good stuff. So that's one thing that me and him differ on is I'm still in the camp that Dave will do amazing things at Lucasfilm. Like, I feel like season 1 of Ahsoka had some rough places, but it also had some strong things. And I think that the issue that we run into is Dave doesn't have a lot of experience with live action, but he has a lot of experience with animation. So if Dave were to get a lot more, lot better advice and better training on live action, I think he could actually manage a lot of really good projects.
And also another thing, when you were saying that, another thing that actually I like about Star Wars Explained is they're very positive. Even when they don't like something, they always prioritize what they like about the thing so that they basically go in and try to be positive about things. Even when it's not a liked thing per se, they're not here to hate on Star Wars. And yet again, that has its place, that has its purpose. When something is bad, there should be people out there saying what is bad about it. but it's refreshing to have a channel that's trying to focus on the positive and trying to bring the community together. That's my viewpoint. And as I said, other people are going to have other viewpoints, but I did have to get going. So I will talk to you in the future.
Absolutely. Of course, my friend. You have a great day. May the force be with you. And I can't wait to talk after Celebration. And I look forward to our conversations from a certain point of view. This stream was a surprise, to be sure, but a very welcome one.
Yep. So, this is goku48071, and may the force be with you.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. Mark's going to leave, but I will do a little Q&A and answer a few questions that I do want to catch up on the chat. You need a drink, honey? 1 second. I just got to go get my fiance a drink, and apparently I need a drink as well. I shall return. I'm going to answer this. Yes, we're doing our Discord server on May the 4th. Again, how can you believe in anything Disney does? Daniel, if you're still in the chat, I have reservations with Disney, but I believe in Star Wars fans and creators. I believe in people, not in companies, not in the industry. I don't believe in Disney per se. I believe in the will of good people. I love this retro lad. This was one of my. I love my interview with Rob. I really want to do more with Mark. In fact, I'm thinking of calling me and Mark's podcast whenever we happen from a certain point of view.
Like that.
And I'm gonna just so you guys know, Mark made me elevated to remain. So just like Melissa, just like I told Melissa the other day, I'm done talking about Cobra Kai because I'll still talk about it in the future. But one of the things I'm really excited about now is I'm gonna make a whole bunch of Star Wars videos now because I have my passion back. I'm going back to my roots. The idea that he said about Star Wars explained about how you can be positive but still talk about the negativity but still focus on the positive. I want people to remember what it's like to be positive about Star Wars again. And I want to elevate that again. Remember people what it's like. And so this is something that I'm really happy about. And I can't wait. So you're going to see a lot more Star Wars content from me. We'll be talking about Mando and Grogu today. We're going to talk about Mara Jade today. We're going to talk about potentially, hopefully, Old Republic today. Lots of good stuff coming. And I'm going to start to stream Star Wars games on the weekly basis again. We're going to go through Jedi Outcast and Jedi Survivor on hardest difficulty. And that's another announcement I have for you guys is I got to get Ella's drink real quick. But exciting projects are coming. Yeah, but I'm going to be doing a lot more. Part of the reason I'm detaching from some podcasts is I'm going to go back to being a solo streamer a lot more. I've been a lot of a helper and a collaborator with a lot of different people, and I love collaborations. But I want to get back to doing what I do best, going back to it being about me and my channel and what I want to do. Because that's one advice I took from Rob that I want to elevate is I want to stream this game because I want to stream it. Not necessarily that it will get views or content, but I just want to have fun. I want to make money on YouTube, but I want to also have fun with YouTube and explore the things that YouTube gives me that makes me feel great. I will get you your drink now.
You have any chips?
Yeah, I think so. I can look. Are you hungry for snacky?
Yeah.
Snacky, get Jackie. I think Jay probably responded to you pretty quick, but I didn't see it because I was busy. I knew I hadn't heard from him in a while, but I didn't expect for him to call during my interview.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
I told him you were doing it.
I was blown away. I was like, wow, I can't wait to talk about Mark. And I almost forgot about Star Wars Celebration. Oh, yeah, take.
You have 3.
This is almost empty one. This is my backup.
I was like, what?
Okay, I'm back. I don't blame you, Joe. You're doing a great decision by leaving the Cobra Kai community. Thank you for respecting that, Jennifer. Everyone still wants to talk about things, but I joined. Well, Cobra Kai will always be commended for things. That wasn't why I got into YouTube. I like to collaborate with different people. I don't have that same love. Like, I love the Karate Kid films. I love what people have done. I don't have that same drive that I do for, I know my Cobra Kai content has hit and is really good, but I don't have that same drive that I do for Star Wars, that I do have for Marvel, that I do have for DC. I'm an oldie. I'm an old soul. I grew up on the good stuff, the stuff that I really want to talk about. Even when it's not thriving, I want to talk about what could make it thriving. And so I think that's what's really cool. Thanks, Underground. Hopefully we can play some Fortnite. I still want to hang out with you guys. We're still going to do digital watch parties. We're still going to do things. I just need to detach from the regular community stuff. Yeah, Joe, I had to bring Mark on for you because you both love Star Wars and other things. Yeah, man. You ignited my light, man. I'm back to my I'm back to my I feel like in a sense while I have more subscribers than him, I feel like I'm his Obi-Wan Kenobi and he's my Qui-Gon. Like he brought me back to my roots, and that really means so much. You guys don't know how much Star Wars means to me. Like, I'm the most passionate about Star Wars more than everything. Star Wars Theory may have the biggest channel, but I guarantee you guys, there is nobody in this world, and people are really going to clip this and say, oh, this guy says he's bigger than Star Wars Theory. There is no bigger Star Wars fan in this entire world than me. It does not exist. And this is not me flexing on other Star Wars YouTubers. It is just stating fact. I can prove this to be fact. Since I was a kid, nothing else mattered to me but Star Wars. I would talk. Sean Channel has a YouTube channel saying, I talk about movies too much, but I talk about fucking Star Wars too much. Every single day on the stream, I'm finding a way to talk about how Star Wars can be better, how Star Wars should be better. What I love about Star Wars, spending money on Star Wars skins in Fortnite, getting lightsabers. I heard about that. It kind of sucks, Jennifer. It's too bad that Tyrone Magnus has turned to the dark side and speaks. He was the chosen one. He was meant to destroy the Sith, not join them. And I think that's what's kind of sad is like, yeah, it was really cool to have that. Yeah, Joe, playing games again soon, and you thinking about Final Fantasy Journey. Final Fantasy 7 is on sale. It's exposed on PlayStation Store. Plus Final Fantasy 12 is great, basically a Star Wars Final Fantasy. I'm totally down, man. I want to dive into Final Fantasy. My community has basically addressed that they want me to play those games, and I want to do that for the community. I want to give you guys what you guys deserve. And I want you guys to know that we did have a moron come into our stream 2 times. I ignored him both times and removed him because I was so into the interview. But I will tell you, what he did say was that he apparently claims that his friend is still going to make his exposed video. Either it's 30 minutes long, it's going to be done tomorrow, or it's going to be done on Monday. But here's the thing, no matter what comes out in that video, as a community, we are going to fight. If he really does go through with this, I don't care how many followers he has. We have the power as a community to fight this. No matter what comes to light, just know it is all bullshit, and we will not stand for this. I am the Mace Windu of YouTube. This party's over because it's not my party. So it ain't going to happen. Yes, guys, Tuesday, Legion is Tuesday, guys. New guests are coming. Big show. Obi-Wan, bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. Exactly. Let's see. Did I miss any other important ones? Yep. Agreed. I appreciate that, Jennifer. Thank you. Exciting new projects. Joe, myself, Chris, Spike, and Mark could push a lot of good projects. Yeah, man. I agree. I respect Mark for what he's done. Like, you can always make money and always do things, but he's passionate, and his narrative on things is really great. And I really was thinking I was ever going to get into Magic the Gathering, but he kind of made me second think that idea. I think he has great ideas for that stuff, and I'm really happy about it. And yeah, like I said, like I'll be definitely playing games with you guys later tonight at some point when I can get Ella to eventually log off Dream Valley at some point. We'll do balance. She'll play some Minecraft later or something. But right now, my priority is my community deserves videos. Yesterday, I slept nonstop. And while that is great, you guys have been such an amazing community. You guys deserve only the best. And I want to make sure that you're getting that 100%. My life is very busy, but I will always make time for this community. I'm always going to make sure that you guys are a priority. Because you guys are my second family. You mean so much. I don't just come on here to make money and to do all that. You guys, I want us to have as strong of a community as Star Wars Theory, but even better. Because I'm not going to waste my breath talking negatively about things all the time. I want to also look at the positive side. I want you guys to be happy. No one wants to be around a negative person all the time. I want to be positive, and I want you guys to want to be positive with me and chill and vibe and throw our lightsabers up in the sky and party and celebrate like the Ewoks at the end of Return of the Jedi all the time. In fact, even though people have a lot of negative on it, I'm actually getting excited for Andor Season 2. In fact, I have an announcement. My big announcement is, I will say this. My big announcement for you guys is, I know I did it for Skeleton Crew, but I will go full force in returning to watch parties when Andor comes out. Despite I didn't love everything about season 1, I'm excited about Krennic, I'm excited about Saw Gerrera, and I'm excited about K2SO. And another exciting announcement. A week before Andor comes out, we'll be doing a 1 week early rewatch of both Rogue One and Andor season 1. Right? Exciting times, right? Lots of good stuff happening. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Monday, guys, our Snow White watch-along is coming. Yeah, we were going to have fun with that. It's going to be great. Yeah, Cobra Kai did kind of die down a little bit. Yeah, it did. I mean, these spin-offs are going to come out. They're going to come. But, you know, Jedi are patient and humble. And that's what I'm going to be. Patient and humble. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to do. We need to focus on the other things. There's too many great things happening in life right now to waste our breath on one thing that, you know, we don't know when Netflix is going to greenlight it. They're focused on Stranger Things right now. It could be years by the time. Joe and me are doing a lot of Star Wars content for May. Yes. Lots of stuff in May. Lightsaber duel rankings, character rankings. My channel will be very Star Wars centric in May. We will be still talking about the usual things, but Star Wars will get, especially after this stream, not even just May. Right now, everything's going to be balanced, but there's going to be a lot of Star Wars. Not as much so much right now because there's not a lot of news, but I'll put together what I have for you guys into videos, and then we'll have more Star Wars stuff come May. May is going to be a lot. May is going to be rankings. May is going to be watch parties. May is going to be a lot. And we're going to get Celebration here pretty quick. And hopefully, once new news comes out, hopefully we'll have a lot of surprises to talk about. Maybe on May the 4th, we'll finally get our first trailer for Mando and Grogu. We'll have to see what happens, what they decide to cook for us. And I'm hoping May the 4th is going to bring back the Fortnite lightsaber stuff again, because I'd love to stream that with you guys. I think that'd be so fun. Cobra Kai Kid is making Cobra Kai Hands documentary. I did hear about that. I think that's pretty interesting. Beyond the Kai, good for him, man. He's dedicated his life to Cobra Kai, and I'm glad that he loves that show and he wants to do those things. That's great. He's making a choice that's best for him. Hopefully, Skeleton Crew season 2 will happen. Yeah, I'm hoping so, Jennifer. I like season 1. I want to see more of Jude Law's story. I think his character is great. In terms of Star Wars projects right now, I really can't wait. I really can't wait for Ahsoka season 2. I think what they're going to do with Balon is going to be so special. I'm excited for Mando and Grogu, and I'll be talking about that today. I'm excited about Andor season 2. Yeah, I think there's going to be some good things coming for Star Wars. We're going to start reading more Star Wars books again. I'm going to start a new series where I'm going to read Star Wars books per month for you guys, and I might start doing like Audible books. Like maybe what I'll do on the channel is maybe I'll release videos of me reading you guys Star Wars books. Is that something you guys would like to do? And I'll do voices for characters. We'll start with Dark Disciple and work our way up because I haven't gotten to read that. I'll do voices for Quinlan, Count Dooku, Yoda, all your favorites. Palpatine, are you doing a review on the Stanley documentary? Yes. Where is it streaming somewhere already? I might have to look into it. I will have definitely look into it. It is definitely on my list. I'm a huge Stan Lee fan. I will definitely do a review for that. Like I said, I'm going to be balanced, but there's a lot of things that comes out that I want to do videos and talk about. I want to make sure that you guys, if there's something I don't see, or there's something, well, I do have information on sometimes. There are some things that I do not see. So make sure that if you guys find something that you really want me to talk about, please, 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 whether you have my social media, whether you comment on one of my videos, let me know if you hear something that you think I would be interested in or something you want me to talk about. Because this community works both ways. I want to make things that I want to make, but I also want to make things that you want to see. In order for that to happen, I need to know what you want to see. So you got to tell me. This only works as a community if it's a two-way street, both sides. So you got to tell me both sides of it, how everything works. I think you said that you'll read it. I think you said that, and you'll read and post it on YouTube about Ventress. Oh, Disney Plus? Okay, is it out already, Retrolad? So I might have to watch it. About the Stan Lee documentary.
Oh, cool.
I might have to do that because I'll definitely do a video on that. I do have reviews coming out. I did fun with Steve Moana 2 today, so I'll have a review for that later tonight. I saw Bike Riders a week ago. I'll have a review for that. First of all, in terms of content streaming-wise, you guys need to watch Reacher, okay? I'm only going to say this in a video about 1,000 more times until I get you to watch Reacher. Reacher Season 3 is the most peak television right now on streaming. It's better than anything on Max. It's better than anything on Netflix. If you have Amazon Prime, start Reacher Season 1 and binge. This show is freaking great. It is hilarious. It is action-packed. It has the best scripts I've ever seen for any TV show out the gate, man. It is so good. Reacher, watch it. They treated Stan Lee terrible before he died. Oh, did they reveal that in the documentary? Because that would be interesting. I heard there was rumors of some of that stuff, and that's horrible if that really is true. That man was a legend. To have mad treatment like that sucks. And I think I know why that happened, because I do have mistrust in a lot of nursing homes. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if that played a role in it. What are you checking out? Beyond the Kai, are you talking about are you talking about the stuff with Stan Lee? So I think you said you'll read and post it on YouTube about Ventress. Yeah. Dark Disciple is about the love story of Ventress and Quinlan. So yeah, we'll start a series on that. I think we might make it a Monday series. I think I might read a chapter on Mondays. And what I think I might do is I'll put images on the screen while I'm reading it, so you guys won't see my face, and I'll read it like it's an audiobook for you guys. But you'll see pictures. So I'll find pictures of Quinlan and Ventress and different images, and then you guys can see my series. Because you guys really liked that that Avatar video I did where I put the pictures on the screen and just talk. If you guys want more voiceover content, you got to let me know, because I got to know what you guys like. Because sometimes it's hard to tell what you guys like. Reacher, I'll check out that show. Bro, if you got Prime, you need to be watching it. In fact, Underground, I'm going to give you a bigger assignment. Watch the Tom Cruise movies first, because I want you to see the difference between the Reacher from the books and the Reacher that Hollywood tried to create. Tom Cruise is tiny, but Alan Richardson is giant, bro. And he's a tank. Within the first 5 minutes, he proves why he's the definitive version of that book character. I think you'll play Final Fantasy games. You will find more subs because of the fan base. Oh, sick, man. I'm looking forward to doing that. In fact, I'll go get my first, whatever game you think I should play first, I'll get that soon. Do you think I should start with 7 since it's on sale? Or does it matter which game I jump into? Or do you think I should play 12 first because Mark said that it's Star Wars centric? My question. Did Jay say what time he was available? I feel like he's been on the hook for a long time. So if he called me, it must have been for a big reason. One sec. I will. That is always weird to type. I think if you play... Oh, he hasn't answered the other thing first. Okay. Okay. I didn't know they had books for that. Oh, for Reacher? Yeah. It started as a book series. In fact, if you watch the show on Prime, they tell you which books they're adapting. In fact, give me 1 second, guys. Put our books in here, huh?
I don't know.
Looking for our Reacher novel. So I see your wiki book. Have you started your wiki book yet?
No, not yet.
You gotta find some time to do some reading, hon. But we could all use a little bit more leisure time.
Video games are leisure.
Well, sorry, not that kind of leisure. I meant for our brains, it's good to have some reading time. I feel reading is important. That's just part of my belief system.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that, I understand, but for me, that's important. At nighttime, we should get into the habit instead of a TV show, because a TV show sometimes turn our brains too much late at night when we don't have a lot of energy. It's a good idea to like actually read something. All right, let me see. 7. All right. Yes, start with 7 original, and it's only $6 on PlayStation Store. I am going to buy it tonight, and we will stream it tonight. Because you say you think I'm going to get more subs, I'm going to schedule that. I mean, $6. How can I pass up this deal when it's that low? And if you think it's going to be great and I'm going to enjoy it, then I'm excited to stream it. So this is the first Reacher novel by Lee Child. So I've been thinking about reading this one. I believe, if I remember correctly, Reacher season 1 is very based on book 1. I think we remember correctly, right?
I can't remember.
I feel like that's accurate. Final Fantasy VII is its own universe. How available are you going to be tonight, Retro Lad? Oh, now Silver says, you will fight anything when you get exposed. It's done. Your face and Jake's face already on thumbnail, he told me. Boo-hoo. It won't matter. My community knows me and knows my heart and soul. You will not stop me. Be gone. You appreciate my answer I did in that situation?
Yeah.
Just annoyed by him. And I addressed it without being overly upset. I just said, I do not care what he says. Because his nonsense, we're going to stop it. You know what I mean? You do have Prime? Awesome. Yeah. I'm excited. How busy are you going to be tonight, Retrolad? Because if you want me to start streaming that tonight, I can probably do that tonight for sure. I'm definitely excited about it. Those games have been on my list for a long time. And actually, it's kind of important. Thank you, Joe. I will be on for another 4 hours. You want to stream it in the next hour, and I will help you. Okay, my friend. I will do that. Just let me get through some videos first. What? You have face. You have something to say?
No.
No, you just enjoying Valley?
Yeah.
Good. You do lots of cool stuff?
I guess.
You guess. Ooh, you got a new outfit. Your pants look like Ariel's what's it called? Tail, yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love the design inputs. And that's why I have surprise. At end of hour tonight before bed, I will at least stream an hour or so.
You don't even have to stream it. I just want to watch you play.
I want to stream it. I want to make content about it. I think it's cool that there's a game that people could see me be customized in the Disney world. I think it's worth streaming.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch Justin Hartley's Tracker show? No, where's that streaming? I know Elle will be into that because she loves Justin Hartley.
Oh, I've seen it. I think it's on Prime.
Oh, is it on Prime? Okay.
I haven't actually seen it, but
I was disappointed with the Electric State movie. Yeah, I heard a lot about that with the Russos. I heard they spent too much money on that project. I feel like with the Russo brothers, they work well within the Marvel machine. When they're directing a Marvel movie, they have that energy for Marvel. But when they try and do these other projects, it just doesn't seem like it comes together for them. I thought the Greyman was really good, but I thought the pacing was a little wonky. Some of the other movies have been all right, but not great. It just seems like when they're not making Marvel movies, they kind of seem to struggle. Yes, the graphics is old 1977, but when you finish it, it will be worth it. After that, you play Crisis Core prequel, watch the Evan Children complete movie, which is a sequel to 7, and the 7 universe is great. Sick, man. Well, I look forward to streaming that. I think it's going to be great. When you play the remake trilogy, it's going to blow your mind soon. Good to hear. I like having my mind blown. Yes, me know where you're going to go with this. I'm going to end the stream soon, guys, because I am going to have to take a phone call real quick. One of my friends dying to speak to me. After I finish that phone call, and I'm going to be very vocal with him that I have limited time, so it better not be a long conversation. What?
you know how. Never mind.
What are you going to say?
Never mind.
Say words. Why?
Because you snapped at me.
Sorry.
It wasn't nice.
Sorry, I apologize for.
All the Reacher does now.
What did you say?
Because you weren't nice.
I apologize. I'm sorry for snapping. Please tell me what you wanted to say.
I will talk to you later about it.
Why?
Because you were on stream.
Why can't it be mentioned on stream?
Go on stream.
Okay.
I told you what I told you.
Okay. You love swords and magic is martial arts. Oh, sick. I can't wait, man. That's awesome. So is she one of the characters in 7? I think I'll answer one more question, and then I'm going to end this stream so I can work on my videos and then come back and play Final Fantasy VII with you guys later. Do you know what martial arts they know, Retrolad? It's pretty cool. I got to have a convo with my fiance. That's why I'm going to end the stream soon, so got to figure out what's going on. But yeah, I just wanted to see the last thing. Yeah, main female lead. Sick, bro. Can't wait. So I'll answer a couple more questions, and then I'm going to end this real quick. So I see we got 7 people that joined the chat right now. If this is your first time joining the channel, make sure you subscribe. We talk Marvel, DC, Star Wars every day, including and movies and TV shows. That's all we do, and it's awesome. And we talk about all the fun stuff that you love. I wanted to make sure that you guys will always find a place here on this channel, whether you want to talk about movies, talk about TV shows, talk about video games, talk about DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Cobra Kai, all those things. You will always find a place, and you will always have a home here. So thank you. I appreciate your kind words, guys. But I am going to end the stream. I appreciate your time and look forward to more videos, and we're going to start streaming Final Fantasy soon.